Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Confidence is Overrated podcast. I am honored to have you here. My hope is that with this conversation, I can help you see and rediscover the power within yourself to open your mind and your heart to the infinite power of possibilities. Today, I want to talk about how small changes and the small things that we do daily have a big impact in our life. When we don't take action on our goals, on our dreams, when we don't move forward, it's because we don't believe that our actions are going to have any significant impact in our life. So often, the reason why we are blocking ourselves is because we don't have the trust, the belief, the hope, the faith that our actions are going to have any impact at all, that are going to create any results at all, that we are not capable of making it happen. So usually it's not our capability, the thing that is stopping us. It's our lack of hope that we can change things in our life. This is why whenever you feel that sense of hopelessness, of overwhelm, of this is too much, I cannot make any change in my life, I want you to say to yourself, it's just too big. It's just too big. And to whatever it is that you are struggling with, whatever goal, dream that you are struggling to take any action on, I want you to just make it smaller, make it micro, make it manageable. Because when you do this, you are able to take action. And when you start micro actions, you start giving yourself little wins. And that gives you the evidence, the proof that you can do more, that you are capable of making changes in your life. You have probably shared this before. How do you eat an elephant? You eat it one bite at a time. And this is where any big goal that we have in our life, with any big change that we want to make, how do you make it? You do it one micro step, one micro action at a time. Whenever you're feeling overwhelmed or you don't think that you can make a change, I want you to focus on what is a small action that I can take today to move this forward, to start creating this change, to start making this goal, this dream happen in my life. Because it all starts there. When you start giving yourself little wins, small wins, daily, weekly, on a consistent basis, you start creating that belief that you are capable of doing amazing, incredible things. And that's what gives you going. That's what gets you the momentum to continue in your journey. So as I said before, I want you to say to yourself, it's just too big. I need to make it smaller. You cannot do an hour of something, then say I will do 10 minutes, I will do 20 minutes. If that's too big, then say I will do 5 minutes. If 5 minutes feel still too big, say I will do 1 minute. Because you can always move something forward. If you make it doable, if you make it accessible, if you make it smaller to your capacity in that moment. You have to meet yourself where you are. So if you want to start working out, and going to the gym for an hour feels like it's too much, like it's out of your capacity, focus on taking a walk around the neighborhood for 20 minutes. If that feels too big, focus on doing 10 minutes of jumping jacks and push-ups and squats. If that feels too big, focus on doing 1 minute of squats. But you can always make it smaller until you find something that feels doable to you at this moment in time. And when you start consistently doing those small things, you start creating that evidence that you are capable. And you start stacking that evidence, that proof. You start building that muscle that you can do something, that you are capable of doing it. And that will give you the momentum to continue going, to improve, to make it longer later if you need to. But at the beginning, when you feel like something is too overwhelming, that something is too outside your comfort zone, you need to make it as doable, as easy, as accessible as you can right now. It's the same in any other domain or area of your life. If you want to launch a business or change your career or start dating or improve your relationship and start reaching out to friends, you have to make it in a way that feels doable for you, in a way that feels easy to you. Choose the easy path because that's what will keep you going. And the ability to keep going long term, consistently, that's what creates change in your life. This is just a reminder. When something feels too overwhelming, too big, when something feels like nothing you do could ever change it, nothing you do could ever matter. I want you to just say, it's too big. I need to make it smaller. Think about the elephant and eat it one bite at a time because that's all you need. And take it one day at a time. Take it one step at a time. Take it one micro action at a time. Focus on what you can control today and start stacking, start compounding your actions from there. I don't know if you have had this experience, but often I consider myself a little bit of a procrastinator because I used to have all these big goals and big dreams. I would put on the paper all the big goals that I wanted to do, all the big things, the big dreams that I had. I will do this overwhelming to-do list that just from seeing them, I will get like, I don't know where to even start. And what I realized is that we are the ones who set ourselves up for failure often because we set these big goals, these big dreams. We don't make it easy for us. We don't make it easy for ourselves to start. We don't make it easy for ourselves to change our patterns, our behaviors. And the way to make it easy, the way to make it accessible, to make it doable is to take it one step at a time. To notice what is the smallest thing I can do today and start there. To just focus on 1 minute of work, 5 minutes of work, then 10 minutes of work, and start compounding there. But you build that muscle through action. And that's what gets you to believe that you can change, that you can create new things in your life. That creates that trust, that certainty that you are capable of more. This is just a reminder that if something feels too overwhelming in your life, it's probably because you are just making it too big and you just need to make it smaller. You need to micro-size it. Focus on the small things that you can do today and the small things that you can take action on now instead of all the things that you have to do in the future to get to that point. Whenever you are blocking yourself, whenever you feel like something is off in your life and you are not taking any action, but you know that something needs to change and you are not taking any action, you don't know how to start, ask yourself, what is at the root of this thing that feels off? What is the seed of it? What is the root cause of it? Identify what is the thing that feels off in your life? What is the thing that is disrupting the flow of how you feel, of the things that you want? And why are you not taking any action? Get very honest about that. Notice when you are constantly complaining about something, but you are doing nothing about it. Get clear on that. And then have a solution-oriented mindset. What could actually ease this thing that feels off? What could actually make this situation feel easier? What could make it feel better? It's never something that feels easy to do. The thing that you have to do, that you know that you have to do to make that feel better, it's never an easy thing to do. It's usually an uncomfortable conversation, a challenging conversation, a difficult thing that you have to get through, to move through that discomfort. After you have identified what is that feels off and how you can make it feel better, you need to take action on it. You need to start taking those micro steps that are aligned with what you want to start changing those things that feel off in your life. Because so often we resist it, we move away from it, and we don't take any action at all. The way to move away from playing small, keeping our minds small, acting small, keeping ourselves small, is to start taking those small actions, those little things that in the moment they might not seem like a lot. They might not seem like they will create any change. But long term, when we see it in 5, 10, 20 years, they do create a big impact. And this is kind of like investing. I didn't know anything about investing or about finance. When I started researching, you can just invest $100 here. You can just save a little money here. You can put this automatic deposit and you can get this automatic withdrawal from your paycheck and put in an investment bank. And when you start seeing that, you start noticing how it simply happens when you made that an automatic thing of your life. Those little actions do compound and they start creating big results over time. But you have to start with believing that those little things create a big thing later. Whenever you are keeping yourself stuck, whenever you are not taking action on something that you know that you want to create in your life, that you know you want to experience, that you know that you want to go after, identify why. Identify what are the little things that you can do to start aligning yourself and your life with that goal, with that dream, with that change that you want. And then spring into action, no matter how small. Because that's how we grow, that's how we evolve, that's how we change. That's how we expand ourselves and our minds. That's how we start complaining about everything that is going wrong in our life and we start taking actions and start springing into action for it. I remember there was a time in my life when I had a job and in paper, it looked like a very good job. It was well paid. It was a good position. It was in my industry. It was doing marketing communications for like a new company. In paper, it looked very good. And I remember I had not even been there like for 2, 3 weeks. I was feeling off all the time. Because my whole time was spent in an office. I didn't have a window, so I didn't get any sunlight during the day. It was an 8-hour job. I usually will stay over. I would get caught in traffic for 1, 2 hours. And then I would get home at 7, 8, 9 p.m. I will just have dinner, watch TV for 1 or 2 hours to numb myself. And then I will just go to bed. And that will be over and over. That will be the cycle. I will wake up, prepare everything to go, spend an hour on traffic going to the job, an hour or more in traffic going to the job. Then I will spend the whole afternoon, the whole day and the whole afternoon at the office, no sunlight. I will eat in the little dining room and then I will go back home, spend an hour or two of traffic, do dinner, do a TV show over and over again. And that was my routine. That was my day. And I felt completely off. I was not going out. I didn't have any kind of activity during the day. I didn't have any time for myself. I was not doing anything that light me up. The job was monotonous. It was in my field. It was not a bad job, but it was just monotonous, the same thing over and over. And I realized in that moment, I was complaining that I didn't feel good, that I didn't like my schedule. And I realized at that moment that I knew what was off. I knew that I needed sunlight. I knew that I needed to be outside and see people and walk around and have activities and work out. And I was not doing those things. And it sounded very simple, but at that moment it felt like there was no way out. I think we don't realize is that it's the small shift. It's the going for a walk early in the morning before going to the place. It's getting out of the office at lunch to meet people. It's connecting with friends during the afternoon or having a hobby that you like, something that lights you up. It's going to bed early instead of staying late watching TV. Those little things, it's those little changes that change how we feel in our life, that change the energy and the vitality that we bring into our life. Because I was feeling depleted all the time. I felt like I had no life and I felt like everything was so monotonous. I was because I was not making those small shifts that I knew I needed. Those going outside, meeting with friends, going to bed early, having a good sleep routine, having time for myself in the mornings before going to my workplace, taking a small walk at noon or early in the early morning. Those little things would have made a big difference. And I was not doing it. I was complaining about it. I was talking about how I didn't like the job, but I was not doing anything to fix it. And at the end, I realized that I simply was not aligning with that the job looked very good on paper, but it was not what I wanted to do in my life. It was not how I wanted to feel in my life. And so I let it go. I was able to look for another job. I was able to apply and go to interviews while I was still at that job and change to a work environment that was more attuned to me, where was interacting with people and where I had to go out of the office and walk around and interact with clients. And I had sunlight and I had a patio and I could go to the roof. I could eat lunch with friends or with coworkers. And I could go on lunch dates. And that's when you realize, okay, this doesn't work for me. I need sunlight. I need walls. I need activity. I need movement. I need people. I need engagement. I need conversations. That's when you realize what is that you want more of in your life. And you start making those little changes. to align your life to that. But the way sometimes to notice it is to go through those periods where we feel off, where the things don't feel like they align, like they're not made for us. And that's when we notice the change that we need to make. So if you are feeling like that, you feel blood, you feel stuck, if you feel off in your life, what are the little things that you know could make the feeling better? How can you right now in your life start taking micro actions to better that feeling? And then long term, what are the things that you need to change? Because you can start waking up early and taking that morning walk, going to bed earlier instead of spending the night watching TV. So you wake up more energized. You can start scheduling meetups with friends or calls with friends. You can register for a hobby, for a class at night. So you have something that energizes you, something that gives you joy. And you can also start applying and start improving your resume and working on your resume, start applying to other jobs, start making those changes that you know you need to make in your life. You can start working towards that now. You can start dedicating 5, 10 minutes to do those things on a daily basis because you know that you need those changes in your life. This is just a reminder. How do you eat an elephant? Something that feels very big, something that feels impossible in your life. You eat it by taking a bite at a time. So focus on what is the bite, what is the step, what is the micro action I need to take today. Because sometimes we don't believe it, but I promise you, the small things that you do today, the small things that you do daily, consistently, they create big impact in our life. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Confidence is Overrated podcast. I'm honored to have you here. I hope this conversation enlightens something in you to start making those small changes that at the end change your life. I will see you in the next episode. And as always, I'm forever rooting for you. Don't forget it. You got this. Bye bye.